some of the corrections of the work that I had given you. There was this one among the work that I had given you? I think this one was there, number 11, eh? Number 11 was there, and the best way to do number 11 was you first pull out those with powers together. For example, t to power 5, then t to power 5. That means you are going to have 15 times 6 divided by 5. Then you multiply by t to power 5 times t to power 5. The base is the same. So you write one base and add the powers. Eh? So it becomes t to power 5 plus 5. Eh? So you add these two powers, 5 plus 5, which is 10. And divided by t to power 7, it will be t to power 10 minus 7. So the answer here was t to power 3, 15. So 15 can cancel with 5, we get 3. So the answer was 18 t to power 3 for that case. I think most of you passed this assignment. So let us just continue. And we had introduced something about negative indices, if you remember very well, whereby we said, for example, here we have a to power 3 divided by a to power 5. This one is equal to, is the same as having a to power 3. Since we are dividing and the bases are the same, remember, the bases are the same. So we write one base and we subtract the powers. So to subtract the powers, the base is a and the powers are 3 and 5. So 3 minus 5, the answer is negative 2. So a to power 3 minus a to power 5, the answer we get is a to power negative 2. Also, a to power 3 divided by a to power 5 means you multiply a 3 times, then you divide by, when a is multiplied 5 times, and the 3 a's will cancel, will remain with the 2 a's, which will give us 1 out of a squared. Now 1 out of a squared that we get for the second part here, it is the same, it will be the same as the answer which we get for the first part. So meaning that 1 out of a to power 2 is clearly equal to a to power negative 2. And the general formula is that if you have a to power negative 2, I remember telling you that it will be the same as getting the reciprocal, which is 1 out of a, then the power n changes to positive. So the answer will now be 1 out of a power n. So we are saying the laws of indices apply to both positive and negative indices. Example, let us look at this. I think we even tried to look at them together. Who can tell me, who remembers? Now, using this rule, what will be 3 to power negative 2? What will it be equal to? Who can tell us from there? Using this rule that a to power negative n is equal to 1 out of a to power n. Who can tell us what 3 to power negative 2 will be equal to using that rule? Gideon? Gideon, are you there? Yes, my namesake.
I think it will be 1 out of 3 to power 2.
Very good. This one will be 1 out of 3 to power 2, and which will be finally it will be 1 out of 9, yeah? Because 3 to power 2 is 9. So the answer we get will be 1 out of 9. Let's continue. If we look at this also, let us look at this one also. What about this 8 power negative 2? What will it be equal to? This one will be the same as 1 out of a power 2, which is 1 out of a squared. So let us look at the solutions. The first one is 2 to power negative 3 times 2 to power negative 2. So 2 to power negative 3, the base is the same. The base is the same here. So this one will be the same as writing one base, which is 2, and then you add the powers, and the powers are negative 3 and negative 2. So 3 plus negative 2, the answer is negative 5. So our answer will be 2 to power negative 5. Now part B, look at it. Still the base is the same. The base is 3, but the powers are different. So what we shall do, we shall write one base, which is 3, and we add the powers. To add the powers, we are going to have negative 2 plus negative 5. And negative 2 plus negative 5, the answer is negative 7. Okay? The answer there is negative 7. We also have 8 power negative 4 divided by 8 power negative 2. What does that give us? The base is the same, it is a, as you can see. So we shall write one base, which is a, and add the powers. To add the powers, we shall have negative 4 plus negative 2. That gives us negative 4 minus minus 2. Because we are dividing, so we subtract the powers. So it will be the same as 8 power negative 4 minus minus negative 2. So a negative followed by a negative, it becomes a positive. So we shall get a to power negative 4 plus 2, which gives us 8 power negative 2. It gives us 8 power negative 2. So that is the answer for that. Then finally, we look at this. Now here, we don't have powers which are the same. For part E, it is only one base and it is having 2 powers. I want someone to put up the hand and tell us how to work out that part E. Can I have your ideas? How should we work out that? Please, this part is very, very important. Can I have someone else? Sir, you had already given us the answer. Mark, can you tell us what to do there? Save time. Please talk.
You multiply negative 2 times 3.
We multiply negative 2 times 3. Thank you. That will give us 8 power negative 6. Eh? Oh, let us write, all of us, let us write and say in our notebooks there that 8 power negative 2 again to power 3 is the same as or is equal to 8 power negative 2 times 3. 8 power negative 2 times 3, which is equal to 8 power negative 6. Now, someone tell us, how do we treat 8 power negative 6? What is the final answer? If we have 8 power negative 6, what will be the final answer? Eight power negative 6, what will be the final answer? How should we treat it? Joshua, Immaculate, Godi, you have not said anything. 8 power negative 6 is the answer we get from here. What will be the final answer? How shall we treat it? Sarah, how shall we treat it?
1 out of 8 power 6.
Very good. It will be 1 out of a power 6. So when we have 8 power negative 6, this one is the same as 1 out of a power 1 out of, it is 1 out of 8 power 6. Using the other rule. Let us look at these more examples and we do them together. 5 to power negative 3. We want it as a positive integer. To remove this negative integer, you say it is 1 out of 5 to power 3. And 5 to power 3 means you multiply 5 3 times. Check it out there. 5 to power 3, the answer is 125. So the answer here is going to be 1 out of 125. So what about 8 power negative 4? Someone tell us, what will it be equal to? 8 power negative 4. Immaculate, people, please be active, save time, say something. Even if it is wrong, we shall correct you. 8 power negative 4. I want us to move together. So 8 power negative 4 is the same as 1 out of 8 power 4. Using the other rule. So you just change this to positive. The negative 4, change it to positive, and you get 1 divided by that answer. That is the positive rule of indices from negative. Then if you have A out of B and it is to power negative 3, Listen carefully. If you have A out of B and the power is negative 3, remember you will change the base. Okay, you are going to change the power to make it a positive, and then you'll have 1 divided by the whole thing. So can we write in our books there, in our notebooks? So part C, we say A out of B to power negative 3 is equal to 1 out of A over B, and then we put A over B in bracket here, and the whole of it is cubed. Do you get how we are doing it? A out of B to power negative 3. We are still, so this one becomes one number. A over B becomes one number, and we say it is A over B. We say it is A over B. This one becomes A over B to power 3, and the whole thing will be divided by 1. So it will be 1 out of A over B to power 3. And this is exactly what I was telling you. 1 divided by A over B, then the power now becomes a positive. Okay. Now remember, when we are dividing by fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal, and the reciprocal of A over B is B out of A. The reciprocal of A over B is B out of A. So the answer becomes 1 times the reciprocal of this fraction. Now this power can come inside and you get B cubed and A cubed. So this is what we get as our final answer. 1 out of, okay, 1 times B cubed divided by A cubed. So when we are dividing by a fraction, remember we multiply by the reciprocal, and the reciprocal of A out of B is B out of A. Do you have any question about this? Please feel free to ask questions and understand. This topic is very important. That's why I'm going very slowly. I'm taking time so that you can understand. Do you have any question on how we are doing part C? Please feel free. Okay, it seems there is no question. But if you allow us to go when you have not understood, you will be doing yourself a disservice. Let us look at this. 2 to power negative 5. Now that one is the same as 2 is a constant. It is the same as 2 multiplied by 8 to power negative 5 alone is the same as 1 out of A to power 5. I think you agree with that. 8 to power negative 5 is the same as 1 out of A to power 5. And this is what we are seeing there. So the final answer will be 2 out of A to power 5. Now 3A to power negative 2, the whole thing is in bracket. So the power of negative 2 is on 3A. So we can just say this is we change this power to positive, and then we get 1 out of the whole thing. 1 out of when we have changed this power to positive. So it will be 1 out of 3a to power 2. And 3 squared is 9, and a to power 2 is a squared. So nothing should change. We are just applying the what? The rule. Then we have 1 out of u to power negative 2. 1 out of u to power negative 2, we can first change this, the denominator alone. The denominator alone sorry about that, my network had gone bad, but I think you can hear me. So let's continue. I was telling you that that 1 out of u to power negative 2, we could first work out u to power negative 2 alone. U to power negative 2 using our positive rule of indices. God, do you have a question?
Not sure, mistake.
So u to power negative 2 is the same as 1 out of u. U to power negative 2 is the same as 1 out of u squared. So, and it is divided by 1. So we get 1, we divide by u to power negative 2, which is the same as 1 out of u squared. To divide by fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. So it will be the same as 1 times u squared, which is equal to u squared. So we have done these examples. I don't know if there is anyone who is having a question. Any question? Please feel free. If there is no question, then let us also introduce fractional indices. We still remember our rule that if we have a to power m times a to power n, the base is the same, it is a, so we shall add the powers. And the answer here is m plus n, a to power m plus n. Now, let us also look at a to power a half. A to power a half times a to power a half. The base is the same, it is a, so the answer will be a to power a half plus a half, and it will give us a to power 1. Now, we have multiplied a to power a half by itself, or a to power a half has been squared to get a. That's what it means. Now, a to power a half again to power 2. Now here it means we have 2 powers. The first power is a half and the second power is 2. So the answer is a half times 2. And this gives us the third law. So this is the third law of indices, that a to power a half squared is the same as a. So we remember that the square root of 4 is 16. Hence 4, we remember that the square of 4 is 16. When we square 4, we get 16, i.e., I'm saying 4 times 4, the answer is 16. Hence, 4 is the square root of 16, written as root 16. So in general, root of a times root of a is equal to a. I think you agree with that. Root of a, square root of a times square root of a will be the same as square root of a squared, and the squared will cancel with the square root. So you write this in your notebook and I tell you what I mean. Root of a, square root of a times square root of a is the same as, you write square root of a, you put it in bracket and you put squared. You write square root of a, put it in bracket, and then you put squared outside, such that the squared cancels with the root sign. And the answer which we get there is a. Okay? So the number square root of a is also written as 8 power a half. Let us take note of this, it is very important. Square root of a is the same as a power a half. Similarly, 8 power a third times 8 power a third times 8 power a third. Here the base is the same, it is a. So we write one base, which is a, and we add the powers. The powers are 3 powers a third plus a third plus a third, which gives us a power 1. Gives us 8 power 1. Thus, 8 power a third, again to power 3. It means we multiply the two powers, and a power a third times 3, the answer is a. Now this means that a power a third is the cube root of a, and it can be written as cube root of a. So I want you to learn one thing, that when we have 8 power a half, we are talking about square root of a. When we have 8 power a half, we are talking about square root of a. And when we have 8 power a third, we are talking about the cube root of a. So in general, the other rule is here. 8 power 1 out of n is the same as the nth root of a. Meaning if n is 5, then this will be the 5th root of a. If n is 4, this will be the 4th root of a. So you should also remember that 8 power m, then again power n is a power n, then times m. Why? Because when you multiply 8 power m into n, it means these powers can be multiplied and you get mn. Then also 8 power n, then again power m. The powers can again be multiplied to get mn. So these two are exactly the same. So let us look at this simple work. 36 to power a half. We have agreed that 36 to power a half is the same as square root of 36. I want to give you two options of doing this. You can say 36 to power a half is square root of 36, or you express 36 as a product of its, you express 36 as a product of its multiples, which is 6 times 6, which is 6 squared. So you can say 36 is 6 squared, then to power a half. Can we write that somewhere in our notebooks, that 36 is 6 squared? We put it in a bracket and then we power a half. 36 is 6 squared. We put it in a bracket and then we power a half. So when we have two powers, a half and 2, we multiply the two powers. So it will be like I've been telling you. So 36 to power a half is the same as 6 squared to power a half. So you multiply the two powers. 6 to power 2 times a half, and the answer is 6. So 64 to power a third is the same as, now when the power is a third, it means that number has a cube root. So you find the cube root of 64, or a number that is multiplied 3 times to get 64, and the number is 4. So it means this one will be 4 to power 3 to power a third. To power a third, so which gives us 4 to power 3, then times a third. So when the power is a third, it means that number has got a cube root. So you write the cube root of 64, which is 4. So you say 64 is 4 to power 3, then times a third. Now 125 to power a third is the same as 5 to power 3. 5 to power 3, because 125 is 5 to power 3. So times a third. So it is 3 times a third. So the answer is 5 to power 3 times what? Times a third. So can I get some questions from you if they are there? But the concept here is, if you see that the power is a half, if you see that the power is a half, then it means that that number has got a square root, or a number that is multiplied 2 times to get that number. So you write 6 to power 2 times what? A half. Then 125, you write 5 to power 3 times a third. You write the cube root of 25. Now here you see the power on part B, you see the power is a third, and the cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of 27 is also 3. The cube root of 27 is 3. So we write 8 out of 27, which is the cube. 8 to power a third is the same as the cube root of 8, or 2 to power 3 times a third, and the answer will still be 2. You get that? Then 27 to power a third, the cube root of 27 is 3. So we write 3 to power 3, then again times a third. And the final answer will be 2 out of 3. So if you have a question, you can ask.